The film opens in 1940s. Lingard and Anna, a young seamstress, catches the attention of a young machinist named Vasily at her factory. He requests to meet her only kin, her brother Peter, but she asks for a delay. As Anna takes her lunch break, Vasily discreetly trails her, admiring her from afar. She observes a dirigible above with German journalists capturing the cityscape. Just then, a tram driven by Peter arrives at a crossroad. Suddenly, Anna foresees a truck about to collide with her brother's tram, and overcome with fear, she unexpectedly releases light waves that lift and divert the truck, preventing a major accident, even though the tram's windows shatter, injuring passengers. The incident is filmed by journalists in a dirigible above, and amidst the shock, Peter quickly removes Anna from the scene, and she wakes up in their shared room. Peter insists that they leave Lingard due to Anna's uncontrollable supernatural abilities, which have forced them to relocate multiple times to avoid the authorities. Despite his pleas for her to control her powers, Anna admits that they're beyond her mastery. At that instant, officials from the People's Commissariat for Internal Affairs storm in and apprehend the siblings. Ivan, an investigator, arrives and interviews the victims, with one woman recalling a peculiar girl at the crossroads. Back at his office, Ivan questions Anna, but she can't provide any solid details, and she claims it was merely an unfortunate incident, but Ivan presents her with photos of their past homes, where odd incidents and damages led to their abrupt departures. Ivan is inclined to believe Anna's innocence, having experienced unexplained phenomena himself. Before he can elaborate, Petrov takes Anna to a secret facility run by Professor Ilensky. The professor informs Anna of her unique abilities and their plan to study them, and Anna refuses to cooperate until she meets her brother, a meeting Ilensky agrees to arrange. Ivan, still troubled by a past incident, is advised by his wife Vera to take a vacation. In 1936, Ivan and other Soviet soldiers faced Spanish fascists in Madrid. A masked man, Newman, causes the soldiers to self-destruct, but Ivan manages to shoot him, and by 1940, Newman and his assistant Katrina met a chess prodigy Broch in Munich. Despite Newman's denial of Broch's superpowers, Katrina was determined to help him. In Moscow, Ilensky takes Anna to a lab for study and allows her to meet her brother Peter, who advises her to conceal her abilities. Broch is taken to Newman's castle and placed with other teenagers. Anna was confined by Ilensky, who reports her uniqueness to Petrov, viewing her as a potential weapon. Despite numerous tests, Anna shows no special abilities, and haunted by the past, Ivan learns that Newman, having seen the incident's video, plans to visit the USSR. Newman, an employee of Anna Nebra organization, is escorted to meet Professor Ilensky. Noticing Ilensky's terminal illness, Newman offers relief in exchange for a conversation with Anna. Despite his skepticism, Ilensky experiences a miraculous recovery after Newman utters a phrase, and seizing the opportunity, Newman retrieves some documents from Ilensky's desk. Ilensky arranges a meeting between Newman and Anna, and Newman discreetly shows Anna her brother's death warrant, triggering a powerful reaction that results in a massive explosion. Newman escapes with Anna, leaving no trace for Ivan, who would recognize Newman from a distance. The story shifts to 1924 in a secluded village in Karela, where a woman lives with her children Peter and Anna. During a forest excursion, a wolf attack triggers Anna's energy waves, protecting the children but leaving her lifeless when the men arrive. The scene then shifts to the year 1940, and Petrov enters a devastated laboratory, witnessing a chilling sight. People connected by tubes from a collective organism labeled with the letter M, all seated in chairs. Strangely, this structure appears unharmed by the earlier explosion, confirmed by the injured presence of Ilensky lying nearby. Ilensky, the professor, reveals that Anna was responsible for the chaotic state of the laboratory, and he refuses to continue the experiments, prompting Petrov to shoot him. Subsequently, Petrov approaches Ilensky's colleague, known simply as Professor Lyubov. Petrov implores Professor Lyubov to activate the M Squad. Initially resistant due to the news of the professor's death, Lyubov is reminded of her own family by Petrov reluctantly agreeing to assist. Meanwhile, during their journey on a train, a custom officer searches Newman's compartment and stumbles upon an iron sarcophagus containing Anna. Uncertain about what to do, the officer seeks assistance, and meanwhile, Anna finds herself envisioning her own funeral following the encounter with the wolves. Filled with fear, she regains consciousness as Newman reassures her that he is saving her. Attempting to escape, Anna was intercepted by the customs officer, who's decided to detain the peculiar German. However, Newman utters something causing the military personnel to point their own pistols at their heads. Taking advantage of the situation, Newman and Anna manage to flee, leaving the officers behind. In Moscow, Petrov tells his team that Newman, a member of Venebra, meaning ancestral heritage, has kidnapped Anna, a valuable asset from the USSR. A team was being assembled to chase Newman and will leave soon, and Ivan wanted to join the team, but Petrov, concerned for his daughter, denies his request. Newman brings Anna to a location where Katrina's car was parked, and she drives them to a castle, and Katrina seems to disapprove of Newman's new acquisition, and Newman insists that Anna is like him. At the castle, they are welcomed by children, referred to as Newman's army by him. Anna is shown to her room, while Newman meets a guest in his office, Admiral Canaris, who is intrigued by the scientist's research. Canaris expresses his concern about Newman's actions in the USSR, fearing it could lead to war. Newman reassures him and invites him to a formal dinner. Meanwhile, Anna is taken aback by a sound and discovers Brooch in her room, attempting to open the window and escape from the castle. However, Katrina and Newman swiftly intervene, preventing his escape. Katrina escorts the boy away while Newman tries to persuade Anna that the castle is a paradise, claiming that nobody willingly wants to leave. Katrina leads Brooch to a bedroom and advises him to speak only German and conceal his true identity if he desires to stay alive. However, as soon as he departs, the other teenagers launch an attack on him, and in Moscow, Ivan requests his wife's assistance in getting enrolled in the squad before seeking out Professor Lyubov. Ivan expresses his curiosity about whether hypnosis can compel a person to do another's bidding, and the professor urges him not to travel to Germany, but Ivan remains determined to locate the masked man, and back at the castle, Anna discovers Brooch hanging in distress. The boy attempts to explain that he is hated and beaten by the others, hence his desire to escape. Sympathetic, Anna confesses that she experienced a similar situation until she gained strength, and encourages him to do the same. Later, they encounter Newman in the park, who promises to teach Anna how to control her powers, and he explains that he inherited the castle from his adoptive parents, and now it serves as a sanctuary. Newman has arranged Anna's room to her liking, hoping she will find comfort there, and grateful, Anna sits down at a sewing machine, unexpectedly recalling the villagers who burnt down their house, labeling her a witch. Her brother saved her, although their mother tragically perished in the fire, and returning to Moscow, Petrov successfully enrolls Ivan in the squad, and requests the commander to ensure that he doesn't come back. Once Ivan returns from Madrid, he diligently writes a detailed report of everything he witnessed. However, Petrov remains skeptical, disbelieving his account, and suggesting that the soldiers shooting themselves could be interpreted as desertion. Exhausted from his failed attempts to convince Petrov, Ivan is brought to Professor Lyubov. The year is now 1940, and a special forces unit embarks on a journey to Germany in a freight car, and Ivan warns his comrades about Newman's peculiarities, although it appears that they are not entirely convinced by his warnings. Within the castle, the children engage in daily training sessions, while Anna relishes the long-forgotten tranquility. One morning, Katrina presents her with a box containing a new dress sent by Newman, intended for her to wear at the upcoming birthday celebration. Excited, Anna ventures into the hall where the other children were busy preparing decorations for the evening's festivities before they all proceed to their training exercises. During this time, Brooch, who has a fear of heights, loses his grip on a rope ladder and falls, and regrettably, no one shows him any sympathy. Subsequently, they move on to a shooting practice, but Brooch throws down his pistol and flees to a nearby cemetery. In the cemetery, Newman discovers Brooch, and the boy pleads with him to be released. and in response, the scientist promises to teach him how to overcome his fears. Meanwhile, Squad M emerges from the wagon that they were traveling in, triggering memories for Ivan of his training in 1936 prior to his deployment to Madrid. Initially, his comrades had received him coldly due to his status as the boss's son-in-law. However, Ivan earned their respect through hard work and cleverness, and now he finds himself on a special mission. Suddenly, they're approached by an elder man who turns out to be their contact and guide, responsible for leading them to the castle. Simultaneously, Petrov receives the news that the squad had successfully crossed the border, and as the evening progresses, guests begin to arrive at the castle. Newman warmly welcomes Canaris, escorting him to the hall where music fills the air, and the attendees engage in conversation while enjoying drinks. Newman himself is captivated by Anna's beauty, and she presents him with a hand-embroidered handkerchief that she crafted as a gift, and at the birthday celebration, the honoree invites Anna to dance, causing envy amongst the women. Canaris, noticing Katrina's displeasure, is rebuffed by her due to his interest in their wards. He informs her that people from the USSR are coming for Anna, and meanwhile Squad M reaches their liaison's forest house, receives weapons and a map, but are ambushed by German soldiers. After a victorious battle, the commander unexpectedly kills the liaison, indicating no return orders. At the castle, Canaris loses a chess match to Broach and admires his intellect. However, upon discovering Broach's Jewish heritage, he draws his gun. Anna's powers activate when she sees Canaris aiming at Broach, causing everything in the hall to levitate, including Canaris. The spectacle ends with Newman touching Anna, causing her to faint and Canaris to fall. After a sudden halt to the chaos, the angry admiral orders the destruction of all children within 3 days before leaving, and Newman takes Anna to her room, admiring her for her ability to stop the chaos. Anna questions the need to harm the Jews, and Newman reminds her of their own lack of sympathy, as they were different, and Newman, captivated by Anna, rejects Katrina's advances in his office, and despite Katrina's reminder of Canaris' order, Newman plans a beneficial deal. The scene shifts to Newman's childhood, where he was ridiculed and ostracized. His parents made him wear a mask to prevent harm, causing him great distress. His father complained to the landlord about Newman's disruptive behavior, leading to a visit from the landlord, and it was explained that Newman frightened guests and caused his father to lose a finger. In 1940, the morning after the dinner, Anna faced weary looks from the servants who witnessed the previous day's incidents. She encounters an armed Katrina in the park but retreats to the house upon seeing the guards. Newman leads a meditation session for teenagers, invoking Thor for strength. Seeing this, Anna requests to start training, and Newman instructs Katrina to remain at the castle for guests while he takes Anna away. Concurrently, the squad finds a pre-arranged rubber boat in the forest, and Newman flies Anna to his parents' house, and upon landing, they cross a bridge where Newman prompts Anna to remember her brother, triggering her powers and causing a reverse waterfall. However, Anna regains control when Newman calls her, and they enter an old house where Newman recalls his departure from his abusive father's home, his mother's final act of writing down his mask's password, and he shares his vow to ensure his children's happiness, remembering how his patron removed his mask but respected his wish to keep it. The patron took him to the castle, promising him happiness and a normal life. However, 1 year later, the outbreak of war disrupted their lives, and the person who had been supporting Newman financially went away on a business trip, and their residence was transformed into a makeshift hospital to accommodate the wounded soldiers. Newman did his best to assist in any way he could, and on one occasion, he was even involved in a distressing task of helping with a leg amputation. The soldier undergoing the procedure was in immense agony, but Newman utilized his unusual abilities to alleviate the man's suffering during the operation. Sometime later, Newman confessed his feelings of love to one of the nurses, and although she was an adult and he was just a boy, she laughed but reciprocated his affection. Unfortunately, a day came where Newman stumbled upon the nurse engaging in an intimate act with one of the recovering soldiers, and overwhelmed by rage, he impulsively compelled the soldier to end his own life using a hammer. The authorities eventually discovered Newman's horrifying actions. They swiftly apprehended him, gagged him, bound him tightly, and forcibly removed him from the castle. In the year 1940, Newman informed Anna that his parents have passed away, expressing his joy at finding her. Anna, utilizing her newfound abilities, lights candles in the fireplace, which brings delight to Newman. They share a drink together and grow closer, and during the night, Anna experiences a nightmare in which Brooch dies, causing her to wake up in terror, and she pleads with Newman to return to the castle. Meanwhile, the remaining members of the squad make their way toward the river, and one of the soldiers sustains a severe injury and loses his strength. And in order to avoid burdening his comrades, he takes his own life, and only 3 soldiers remain, but they persist in rowing toward the castle. Meanwhile, Katrina, who's unable to sleep, reflects on her past experiences assisting her mother, who worked at a psychiatric hospital. On one occasion, they encounter a restrained boy named Newman, and Katrina freed him, and he vowed to never harm her. Now we shift to 1940 in Germany. The 3 remaining members of the squad finally reach the castle's premises, and they're taken aback by the lack of security and decide to enter. Petrov receives a report detailing incidents in a specific region of Germany, and he realizes that everything is proceeding as planned. Petrov's supervisor is horrified as their actions have left a conspicuous trail, which could easily lead to the USSR being accused of provocation. However, Petrov assures his boss that this was all part of the plan and that there will be no international incident. At this very moment, Petrov's daughter calls, prompting him to rush home, and meanwhile, the squad members arrive at the castle and, splitting up, begin to explore the area. Simultaneously, Petrov discovers Vera in a state of hysteria, and Vera is consumed by worry for her husband, and Petrov decides to take decisive action. And simultaneously, within the castle, Katrina engages in reading a book to the children, and observing her unease, the children manage to soothe her anxiety. Katrina instructs them to turn off the lights and depart, coinciding with Ivan's entry into the hall from the opposite side, and the soldiers continue to explore the castle, and now the leader of the squad joins the children in the hall. However, unlike Ivan, he keeps his weapons raised and prepares to shoot, and at that moment, the children initiate the attack, and the squad leader fires indiscriminately, but the adolescents counter by throwing their garments at him, eventually overpowering and subduing him. The eldest child instructs Brooch to take the pistol and execute the enemy. However, Brooch finds himself unable to shoot the man, and in the ensuing struggle, the squad leader manages to injure him with a knife before succumbing to his own demise. The children carry the wounded Brooch to a bedroom, leaving the soldier's lifeless body on the floor of the hall, and the 3rd member of the squad, a female warrior, locates Katrina's office and engages her in a gunfight. Katrina attempts to escape, but the woman catches up to her, and a physical confrontation ensues, and Katrina emerges victorious as she successfully pushes her opponent away, rendering her unconscious. However, before Katrina can make any further moves, a German soldier named Ivan arrives on the scene. Brandishing a pistol in a threatening manner, the woman captures Ivan, and in Moscow, Petrov takes his daughter to Professor Lybov, requesting her memory to be erased. Despite her initial outrage, Lybov complies under military pressure, and as she performs the procedure, Petrov's subordinates remove all traces of Ivan from their apartment, except for one unnoticed photo. After the procedure, the girl wakes up with no memory of her husband, and meanwhile Ivan was attacked and injured by teenagers, and Katrina intervenes, taking Ivan to Norman's office. She reveals her recognition of Ivan from Madrid and addresses an inquiry about Anna's kidnapping. She explains that Norman, unlike most power-hungry people, intends to use his power to prevent war. Upon arriving at the castle, Newman and Anna discover a wounded woman whom Newman kills, and Anna finds Brooch dead in the bedroom. Concurrently, Ivan was tending to his wounds while Katrina explains their mission of teaching survival skills to children for world salvation under Norman's leadership. She proposes a mutual escape plan, but before Ivan can respond, Newman enters and Ivan takes Katrina hostage. But Newman shows indifference by upsetting her, and Anna uses her powers to disarm Ivan, but upon recognizes him, she is quickly removed by Newman. In Moscow, Professor Lubov, mourning Linsky, receives folders from Petrov containing the names of the condemned who could be saved by joining Squad M. Newman expresses his desire for Ivan to join him, justifying his past actions as wartime necessities. He reveals his goal of finding gifted individuals like Anna, who he believes are the future. When asked about his immunity to hypnosis, Ivan reveals the existence of Squad M, a group like him, warning Newman that they will soon arrive and he won't be able to hide. After a conversation with Ivan, Newman encounters Anna in the castle's backyard. She urges him to leave everything to Katrina and depart, but Newman, believing in their extraordinary abilities, seeks her help to defend their home. Anna visits Ivan's cell seeking insight into his unique experience in Madrid, and Ivan recounts the death of his comrades due to Newman's whisper, revealing that his survival was merely due to a pistol malfunction and not any special ability. If Newman discovers Ivan's secret, he will kill him instantly and only Anna can oppose him. Katrina, having overheard their conversation, offers to let them escape if they promise to never return. And Newman orders Ivan's execution and begins searching for Anna. Katrina escorts Ivan to her car, but they were intercepted by Newman's guard, and a fight ensues, and just as the guard was about to kill Ivan, Katrina intervenes, and outmatched, she resorts to shooting the guard, and the gunshot attracts the teenagers, who rush to the courtyard as Katrina drives Ivan away. Newman finds Anna at the cemetery and dismisses her plea to release the children, and he views them as insignificant, intending to use their combined powers to create a new world. Spotting Katrina's car, Newman dons his quantum mask, amplifying his voice, and as Ivan aims a rifle at him, the mask's power causes Katrina's car to crash, though Ivan survives. Members of Squad M, unaware of Ivan's alliance, engage him in a fight, forcing Ivan to kill a soldier. Newman urges Anna to use her powers, which she does upon recognizing her brother amongst the soldiers, and her power knocks Newman down, causing a rockfall. Mourning her brother's death, Anna's powers reactivate when Newman is shot by Ivan, and as teenagers arrive, Ivan pulls Anna away while they carry Newman's body into the castle. The Russians escape to an airplane and manage to take off just in time, and 9 months later, Anna delivers a healthy baby boy. A fortune-telling girl promptly informs Newman, and when a villager recognizes Anna and attempts to inform others, Ivan intercepts him as bombers appear overhead, releasing a swarm of paratroopers. And with that, the movie ends. We hope you enjoyed our recap. Like the video and subscribe to our channel for more amazing recaps. See you in the next one.